How's it going, everyone? I'm Keegs, and I am here with Ben to talk about the Acolyte trailer. Say hi, Ben.
Hello.
So, we got this trailer at the end of the Phantom Menace that screened in theaters on May 4th. And tell me about it, Ben. What'd you like about it?
So they released they released the trailer also to the public, but in the Phantom Menace screening, they also released this like 2-3 minute long, just full sequence.
Yeah.
And two things. One, I thought this trailer was like so much better than the first one that I'm a little baffled that the first one even came out as it did. I guess we could get into that after, but I thought that this just spoke really well for it. The scene that we got of the fight scene was really cool. It was like kung fu, and it was really well choreographed. The way that it was shot, kind of like a lot of long takes with the camera kind of like swinging around. It's very like John Wickish.
Yeah, ironically, I think it felt like the Matrix style of fighting.
Yeah, it did, and yeah, because Trinity,
like
Trinity is in it.
That's why they must have brought her in, because she had that experience in that combat style, and that's, I think, what they were clearly going for, watching her fight the Acolyte, I guess?
Assassin?
The assassin?
So yeah, I thought that whole fight sequence was really cool. Like the hits, and like it felt really violent.
It did.
Not in like a
impactful.
Yeah, it felt like a John Wick fighting sequence or like a Matrix fighting sequence where it's very like just really well done. I like the way that they use the Force powers. I was initially worried that I think the first trailer they used the Force and it didn't like make the noise, and that was really odd.
Oh, interesting.
Or it was really quiet. But here, like you didn't. It was there and everything was good.
Yeah, and she definitely says like, hey, we got an unidentified Force user. Obviously you can't call it as a Sith, so
yes,
we think that like there are evil Force side users in the galaxy, just not
that are not
specifically Sith. Yeah,
it's interesting actually. There's a lot of cool ways they could go with that, but as far as like visually, I thought it looked really good. Like the first trailer, I was like, oh, this kind of looks like somewhere between Kenobi and Mandalorian in terms of like visual quality, but this trailer, like, it's like they fixed the blacks.
The set design
the
was
color
really
grading,
good too, and
design
looked like a real restaurant. You know, it didn't look like a prop restaurant.
No, it looked really good. And I like that. I felt like all the atmosphere and style was in there that was just you didn't feel in the first trailer. So like, look, I don't want to like go off on anyone in particular, but like I don't know what they were doing with that first trailer. Like it was legitimately not a good first impression, especially when you compare it to what it actually looks like, which looks really good. And yeah, baffling, but also I'm glad that people are now seeing this and getting a different impression. Yeah, I thought it looks quite good.
How many Jedi do you think are gonna die in this series?
Ooh, probably a lot. I don't think all of them have to die because...
No, I don't think so either. I mean, there can definitely, like, there's nothing crazy about a dark side Force user, I don't think.
No, and there isn't a reason to just assume that they're a Sith, especially since they're so skeptical in the Phantom Menace that could even happen.
Willing to just write it off, I think, as like, it's probably nothing.
Yeah, one of the many reasons, but one of the reasons that the Jedi are culpable for in their fall during the prequel era was their hubris. That's an aspect that I do think that The Last Jedi Luke got right about it, and that would kind of feed into that too. In that they see this dark side, or they even have this experience, and they don't think anything of it. And I think that's okay because they're skeptical. Qui-Gon goes to them and tells them about this.
Yeah, he literally tells them that it's a Sith, and they're like, nah, I'm gonna need you to go back and verify that. That doesn't sound right.
But by that same token, that could also lend to part of the reason they're so skeptical, because they've seen red lightsabers before, just
not Sith,
or not them specifically, but Yoda had known about it. I assume this gets reported to him.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That could definitely,
but that could be why they're skeptical. And so I found that aspect really, really interesting. So I'm actually really looking forward to this. The masked Darksider, I assume that person is the Acolyte.
Yeah.
And really cool mask. It almost looks like something out of an anime, and I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah, it does look really cool. So I'm definitely excited. I mean, you think it's possible that could be the Sith?
I do hope it is the Sith and not like some unrelated bad guy. Not because that couldn't be interesting, but I feel like the more interesting thing is the Sith.
Yeah, I'm really hoping we get to see the Sith. I feel like we should, but like I could see us being kind of jerked around a little bit or misdirected in some sense.
Yeah,
but I really hope this is the Sith.
it could be that the Darksiders that we see the Jedi interact with are not Sith, but they eventually find the Sith because the Sith kind of sees this rival dark side.
Yeah, that would be really, really interesting. And then he's maybe takes an apprentice from that or something. That'd be kind of interesting.
And they could go either way. It could be
because Palpatine's not even alive yet.
No, he's not. Because he's like I think in his 60s in the prequel trilogy, something like that.
Blows my
so he wouldn't be alive
he's like
yet.
20 years younger than Dooku.
I know, it's always funny. But I don't know how long Plagueis' species lives, so it could be Plagueis, or Plagueis could have just been born around that time. So I find it more likely that it's Plagueis' master, which is still interesting. And I do hope that's the direction that they're going with it, and it's not something else. I've seen some people speculate that the guy's a Knight of Ren, I guess because the mask
is reminiscent of Kylo's.
Is reminiscent of that, and we do learn in the comics that Ren is a title.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a person at some point, but it became the title.
Yeah.
The reason I don't want that to be the case is for two reasons. One, I just think being the Sith would be better, but the other reason is I don't think that being a Knight of Ren would be very interesting as an answer. And that's not because I don't like The Rise of Skywalker. It's actually because I don't think they ever did anything interesting with the Knights of Ren in the films. And even the comic that they have a bigger presence in, it's still not that interesting.
Yeah, maybe this is the thing that makes it interesting.
So yeah, you're right. It could be the thing that makes them interesting, but we sort of know where they end up, which is in an area where their story doesn't really matter and it's not that interesting.
Yeah, that's fair.
Aside from Kylo Ren. So it's like, I just don't think that'd be a very interesting answer because I think the director and I guess the showrunner, she's discussed how her view of the Jedi in the prequels, she wants to sort of show how they kind of got to that point of being susceptible to Palpatine's manipulations and sort of their hubris and sort of the things that they don't do right, even though they're good people. So I feel like in order to do that, having a Sith would be a lot more interesting. And we also get to see the machinations way earlier, which I think would be cool.
Yeah. Do we have any understanding of how they know if it's a Sith or not? Like, how do they know if it's a Sith or just to do with the red lightsaber? Like, can they feel it in the Force, you think? Like, that you feel that they're using something other than just, like, raw dark side energy or something? Like, maybe it's a more refined Force feeling? Because Qui-Gon was damn sure after one encounter with Maul that was a Sith. But, like, nobody saw any of the Inquisitors and was like, oh, yeah, that's a Sith.
I think it's an intuition thing.
Okay.
Because, and how aggressive Maul was. But I think the other reason they thought this was because they connected the dots and that the Sith that they saw was clearly involved in whatever scheme this was.
Yeah.
With the concocting this trade dispute and stuff. So they know that the Sith, at least from their archives, are sort of cunning and conniving and do that sort of thing. And not that other Darksiders couldn't do that, but it seemed the most likely to be them.
That's an interesting point.
That's also why I think it'd be better if it was a Sith and not just something else. I don't know. There's a lot of ways that they could do that. I've seen some people.
Be the most interesting that way.
Yeah, I think so too. I just don't think the Knight of Ren would be an interesting answer, just based on the story that we have for them now. I know some people are concerned that it will make the Jedi like just awful all around, in a way that goes beyond like hubris and arrogance and making mistakes into like full-blown corruption and like bad guy territory. I don't think that they're gonna do that because the Clone Wars doesn't do that, the prequels doesn't do that, and I actually think the prequels being so nuanced about it is why I think some people missed that when they watched it. And watching the Phantom Menace now, when we saw it in theaters, I don't think it could have been any more clear that something isn't that great about them.
I mean, this is really kind of the era where the High Republic is really on its way out. It's really moving into just normal Republic territory.
And we could see
really the end of the High Republic era.
And we see how the Jedi, like, you're supposed to confront your darkness, but the Jedi sort of shut down those feelings altogether, and we could kind of see the beginnings of that. And maybe they take the wrong lessons away from whatever happens in this. So I'm really excited about that. I hope the online conversation isn't annoying about it, but I'm sure it's going to be no matter how good it is, because Star Wars fan base online it's very loud, annoying people in it.
I thought it looked great. I mean, I have high hopes for it, though, for sure.
Yeah, me too. So you thought it looked pretty good overall?
Yeah,
what we saw?
Definitely good. The choreography looked really good. The fight scenes looked good. Like I said, I like the set design a lot for that one episode or one snippet that we saw. So I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I hope it continues with that same level of production throughout the whole series.
Me too. We don't have to wait that long. It's like 3 weeks, so.
Yeah, it's coming out June 4th, so I'm pretty excited for it. And from my understanding, it's only one season, so like they can really go wherever they want with it.
Yeah, I just I really wish that they would do like, I don't know why Andor is the one that gets an hour-long episodes, but not that there's anything wrong with Andor. Just you would think, given certain larger concepts that are sort of being addressed within the universe.
Yeah. Well, I do know it's a 2-episode premiere, so at least we should have at least an hour for the first week.
Yes. So I'm really excited about it. I think it'll be good.
Overall, I think that's about all I have to say about the trailer. You have anything else?
Same.
Yeah.
No, that's it.
All right. Well, let us know down in the comments. What did you think about the trailer? Did you even see it? And are you excited for The Acolyte? I'm Keeks, and I will catch you all next time for some more Star Wars content.